Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down expert knowledge into clear, actionable insights. Today, we're getting into one of the most personal and complex topics out there: fertility.
So what happens when that biological clock feels like it's ticking louder than you ever expected? Or maybe it feels like your own body is working against you? Well, today we're diving into 4 really common but super complex fertility challenges. We're going to take real-life questions and turn them into a roadmap for your own journey.
Okay, here's what's on deck. We'll hit on the biological clock and low AMH, the autoimmune factor, what your IVF game plan should really look like, and the inside story on endometriosis. And then we'll pull it all together. Let's get started. Okay, first up, we're talking about planning for the future when time feels like it's of the essence.
So this one comes from a 36-year-old who wants 3 kids, but she's been told her AMH is low. Her question is, what's my best plan? And honestly, this is such a classic challenge, right? You're trying to balance your family dreams with your age and your biology. It's a lot. To understand the advice, we've got to look at one key number.
Her AMH level is 1.1. Now, AMH is a hormone that basically gives us a snapshot of your ovarian reserve, an estimate of how many eggs you have left. For someone who's 36, a 1.1 is, well, it's on the lower side. So you can totally see why she's concerned.
So just to be clear, AMH stands for anti-Müllerian hormone. It's produced by your developing egg sacs, and it's the main blood test doctors use to estimate your egg supply. So what does this number actually mean for her big plan to have 3 kids?
Okay, here's the crucial point. Let's just do the math. Even if she gets pregnant naturally, like right now, by the time she's ready to try for baby number 3, she's probably going to be 40, maybe even older. And at that point, relying on natural conception becomes a pretty significant gamble.
So the recommended plan is all about being proactive. It's called embryo banking. The steps are simple. See a fertility doctor now, go through IVF to create embryos, and then freeze those embryos for the future. It's kind of like hitting a pause button on your biological clock, and it gives her the absolute best shot at reaching that 3-kid goal.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. That first scenario was all about time and egg count. Now we're going to look at what happens when your body's own immune system gets involved in the fertility equation.
We're talking about Hashimoto's disease. This is an autoimmune disorder where your immune system literally starts attacking your own thyroid gland, often leading to an underactive thyroid. So we heard from a listener with a family history of this. She's been trying to conceive for 10 months and wants to understand, what's the connection?
This is a really great way to visualize what's actually happening inside the body. Think of it like this. Your brain is sending out a signal, that's TSH, and it's basically yelling at the thyroid, hey, get to work. But because the thyroid is under attack, it just can't keep up. So the brain's signal is high, but the thyroid's hormone output is low. It's a total communication breakdown.
So what do you do about it? Well, the action plan has 3 key parts. First, you take thyroid hormone replacement to fix that imbalance. Second, and this is huge, you have to focus on decreasing chronic inflammation. That's a big deal in any autoimmune disease. And third, you still need a full fertility evaluation because sometimes these issues are linked back to a lower ovarian reserve, which connects us right back to that first story.
All right, next up, the IVF game plan. Let's imagine you're 40, you know you have a low ovarian reserve, and you're about to start your first cycle. What do you really need to know?
This quote, it just hits you, right? It's from a patient who wanted to know if it was okay to meet her embryologist because, in her words, she does not want to come across as crazy. Wow. That just highlights this fear so many people have, the fear of being seen as a difficult patient when you're just trying to understand what's happening.
And the expert answer is so important. You are your own best advocate, period. Asking questions about the lab that's handling your future family isn't crazy. It's incredibly smart. So let's talk about what you should be asking. Here's the thing. The lab is just as crucial as your doctor, so you've got to ask some key questions. How many embryologists do they have? How many IVF cycles are they doing a year? A huge red flag is a lab with just one embryologist trying to handle over 200 cycles. That is a lot, and you should absolutely ask for their lab's specific live birth rate per transfer, not just some generic national average.
This all leads to a really critical strategic question. How many embryos do you actually need to bank? Because knowing the real odds can help you and your doctor decide if you should do multiple egg retrievals before you even attempt to transfer. It's a decision that could save you so much time, money, and heartache down the road.
So let's break down the numbers.
One single genetically normal embryo, that gives you about a 65% chance of a live birth.
Now, if you bank 2 normal embryos, your cumulative chance of success jumps all the way up to about 85%.
And with 3, your odds reach around 95%. You see? This kind of data is absolute gold. It empowers you to build a strategy that really maximizes your chances of success.
All right, for our final case study, we're looking at a patient with stage 4 endometriosis, which is a seriously inflammatory condition.
Now, with severe endometriosis, you can get something called an endometrioma. It's a type of cyst that forms inside the ovary, and it's super inflammatory and can really hurt your egg count. But here's the tricky part. If you surgically remove them, you risk taking out healthy ovarian tissue right along with it, which lowers your egg reserve even more. It's a real double-edged sword.
So what's the plan for endo? It's all about tackling inflammation. First, you need an IVF doctor who actually specializes in this. Then, you have to be aggressive about controlling inflammation from other sources. Think diet, sleep, stress. The top priority is creating a genetically normal embryo. But that's only half the story. The second crucial step is to use what's called a suppression protocol before the transfer, often for a few months, to calm everything down and make the uterus as receptive as possible for that precious embryo.
Okay, we've just walked through 4 very different, very personal journeys. So what are the big lessons here? What applies to everyone no matter what path you're on?
It really boils down to these 4 core principles. 1. Your plan has to be personalized. It's for your body and your goals. 2. Inflammation is a key factor, a hidden enemy, and it's something you can often influence. 3. Data drives your strategy. Know your numbers. And finally, 4. You have to be an active, informed participant in your own care. There is just no one-size-fits-all protocol.
And that really is the main takeaway. We've looked at the plans, we've looked at the data, but the most important next step is the one that you take. So having heard all this, what's the first question you're going to ask for your plan?